for city council and never said, by the way, we run your micro FM or whatever. The point is, I'm not hiding from that fact. I actually supported it for interfering with commercial stations. But the fracas I heard was they were filling up the FM band 3-4 years ago and put a Christian station that got the license on that. And there's no more areas for micros. It's what people that do it call it. It's called pirate by the FCC. But here's the deal. I can't keep track of our 200 plus affiliates. Some of them 50,000 watt AMs, 10
Buy his products. They really are good. They really do work. I'm trying to make another order, but I don't have the money.
Half a watt thing in
Trying
Austin
to.
that I haven't been able to hear for 3-4 years. That I'm like, oh, my station, my flagship. We're number one on the iTunes app Android. We were number one on YouTube. We're being shut down because we're number one.
Download his app.
And I'm not putting down folks that have us on micros. That's great.
When you download it, you can even see, unlike other apps, it doesn't say it needs access to your media and phone calls and location and all that.
In years and don't even know the people that run it.
Nothing.
Is insane. But that's how they pitch this garbage. The video is now live at Infowars.com. Emergency. The EU and China are already regulating the U.S. internet. There's another emergency message to Congress.
Obama sold the internet in 2000, right before we were almost going to go to war with Syria, and he bombed it. 2012, 2013, I forget.
This is the takeover.
Maybe it was 2014.
We're going to more and more have a splash page on Infowars with whatever the most censored, hardcore info is. You just click below to go to Infowars.com itself, Newswars.com, you name it. And again, you'd think with us, them taking $3 million of our sponsors away, taking Credeo away, after they took our ad roll last year away, that I'd be plugging. I'm so focused on the news and winning, I'm not. But listen, we've got products, whether it's air filtration or water filtration, that for the price.
I wish I could afford those.
Especially
that air filtration.
Get a better HEPA filter, yeah. The average HEPA filter is $600. Ours is just as good as that one, and it's $200. Lex Pure Breeze.
I think the deal is it's got free shipping on everything too.
The very best. The water's full of glyphosates, Roundup, all that stuff. You and your family need it. And yeah, I'm saying the water's scary. Better filter it and support us. Fund the broadcast.
Makes me queasy about taking a bath,
Get
like,
reverse osmosis. Get it all. It's all there at InfoWarsStore.com. And get the supplements. We have Fight the Bullies, Save the Internet, super sale that's got to end early next week because we're running low on some of these, like Secret 12. DNA Force Plus, all free shipping, 50% off. Survival Shield X2, 40% off. We may not have that soon. We're running low on supplies. Have not secured new supplies yet. All Super Blue fluoride free colloidal silver ion fortified toothpaste, 50% off.
Pray in Jesus' name.
Free shipping, free shipping. Ultimate fish oil combo, 40% off. Your children, they all need it. This is stuff you all need. And if you just go fund us, they won't be able to stop us, and we will have victory.
Program, his whole
lung cleanse,
entrepreneurship
Super
that he's got going on there, Lord Jesus,
InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLive.com, or 888-253-3139. Tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. The new products don't have reviews yet. Thank you all for your support. Whatever you do,
I'm not gonna show the commercials, but y'all go buy his products for real. Like, they really work. I've already bought a couple, but I ain't got no job or nothing. They're hitting them hard everywhere.
All right, Mike Adams of naturalnews.com and his great new real video site that's gotten already something like 50 million views in the last few weeks. Exploding, really steering the system. Tell us, Mike Adams, before I hit a few final points here, what's coming up this hour?
Alex, we're talking about the vaccine scandal in China exploding. We're talking about alternatives to the browsers that are now being sold to China. Opera has been sold to China, and Google is working with China for censorship technology. We've got also Chinese activists now are running what's called a toilet revolution, because the only place they can have free speech is writing on the walls of stalls in toilets in China, and even then they're being arrested. So we've got a lot of great news coming up, Alex.
It's unbelievable. I'm going to ask you this question when we come back in the next segment. How do we get Congress to understand their inaction on regulating the internet for Internet Bill of Rights and free speech is allowing the EU and China to come into the vacuum?
I mean, the way I see
That's
it,
my main mission, and it's a national security issue.
If it was made in the U.S., but then even not, it should be under the Constitution, not a private company
you name it.
A
They don't
public
say,
service
oh,
that everybody
we're a
uses, like
corporation, we can
Facebook.
sell
And
stuff to whoever we want. No,
see what
you
he's
were here,
saying.
you got our money. We
It
paid
was
you as
made here
taxpayers.
too,
You don't
right?
sell us
Like
out.
that,
Globalism is about being a
I
trader.
don't know.
So that's the big issue. Giving up the
I
internet
know
we
what they're doing
built,
is wrong.
allowing foreign hackers to come in and regulate it is a national security issue. Securing the internet freedom is a national security issue. And I know for a fact we're being shut down for exposing that. And as you said in the last month of the show, Mike,
because you're a big thorn in their
exposing the plan
freaking
that they're gonna
globalist
false
ass.
flag mainstream media or big
And I
tech
love
behind
it.
us. It's a sure thing in the next 81 days. And we've got to get ahead of that right now, Mike.
Absolutely, and it's increasingly clear that China is the blueprint for the censorship tyranny rollout in America. It's happening now. So Google creates censorship technology for China that even their own employees are now protesting against, and then they roll that out in America. It won't be long before the Chrome browser itself starts blocking independent media. We're also hearing that Mozilla Firefox is
too?
also on track to start blocking independent media at the browser level. And the next step beyond that, Alex, is, of course, domain seizures. So if we don't stop this censorship now, eventually they're just going to seize all our domains and shut us off that way.
So they're going to block you being able to type in naturalnews.com or Infowars.com. And the final holy grail is this global social score, which even the Wall Street Journal admits is being adopted here by big tech. They're not going to just have a bunch of different systems for the world. They're adopting the Chinese model and the EU model. And by Congress not being involved, it allows them to come in with a regulation. And they're openly saying that they are going to block everybody, have a global social score with an internet ID, which Facebook's already calling for your banking info, and then it's done. Once they get this, it's over. We go into 1984 / Mark of the Beast.
They're also wanting your medical information, all your hospital records, plus your banking records, as you mentioned.
So they can see if you're
We're
suitable
rapidly
to
entering
live,
a dark ages of tyranny and police state oppression where you have zero privacy, you have zero rights, and just like what's happening in China right now, the only place you will be able to speak freely is scribbling on a toilet stall wall. That's what China has been reduced to, and that's what it's coming to in the United States.
I saw that article now. The government's putting cameras in the stalls.
Right, of course.
Dang, what the...
This is what it's coming to, Alex. Again, this has to be stopped. These tech giants will not voluntarily stop their censorship. The president or Congress is going to have to get involved and take some decisive action. If they don't, we lose any last remnant of the First Amendment in America.
And again, they do this thing, well, we're Heritage Foundation, we're free market. Free market, the EU and China are already running internet regulation, and Google and all of them are getting in bed and following it, you idiots. You morons, you buffoons. Soros said during the election 2 years ago he wanted to have full web control where you only got his articles. Well, it's happening now. Alex Jones calls on Trump to defend the First Amendment. That was a week ago. You know, we've been banned since then. Infowarsstore.com, InfowarsLive.com. Please support us. We'll be back on the other side with Mike Adams, Infowars.com. The Real Red Pill Plus, ladies and gentlemen. Our team is constantly on the lookout for newer and better ways to improve our products. That's why we're bringing you a brand new version of one of the newest fan favorite products, the Real Red Pill Plus. Real Red Pill Plus is an all-new version of the powerhouse Pregnenolone product. It features the same great formula that supports your heart, brain, healthy aging process with an all-new natural caffeine boost included. A powerful Pregnenolone base, the Real Red Pill, is quickly become one of our fellow InfoWarriors' favorite products. Now, with an extra proprietary energy blend inside, including green tea extract, yerba mate, leaf extract, and more, you can get that extra pick-me-up, all supporting your mind and body in a healthy way. It's got all the great stuff that Real Red Pill has, but it's also got the boost in it. Get the Real Red Pill Plus at InfoWarsStore.com.
Waging war on corruption. It's Alex Jones coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWars.
A listener in Miami tweeted this image that it's up on one of the Twitters we've still got up. I forget which one, but we did tweet it out earlier. Maybe we can ask the IT guys to tell us. We'll tell people, but who knows? Infowars.com is forbidden information. And I love how in Miami, it got taped over here where they had no, in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. And that's that George Soros funded anti-free speech group. So there it is. In the land of betas, Brian Stelter is king. In the land of America, ladies and gentlemen, InfoWars is number one. And hey, don't, just get our image and do that. I appreciate people doing that. Everybody go out, whatever you believe in, whatever your idea is. We don't want to get to the level where we're only scribbling on bathroom walls and hanging stuff on poles at night. Let's do it now ahead of time, because that's where we've gotten to. And Mike Adams is about to take over and break that down. But before I go any further, because I didn't plug very good today, and I'm our biggest problem. When I plug a few times an hour, we bring in plenty of money. When I plug twice in 3-4 hours, we're going to go down the tubes. They took Criteo, which was a big advertising platform that they're an ad agency. They take your money. They put your ads for water filters, air filters, non-GMO heirloom seeds, and supplements. Kids fish oil, vitamin mineral, fusion, just really high quality stuff. They said that's hate after we've been with them over a year and a half and spent millions of dollars with them, even though they approached us. So $3 million to fund our operation. That's what we brought in. That was gross. A lot of it was advertising and the cost of product. $1.5 million, whatever it was, money. That's all gone. People are like, well, where's my bonus? Where's my raise? Well, you ain't been laid off yet. So I don't want to get up here and say, God, they're beating the living hell out of us, because I'm like John Paul Jones, or my ship's sinking, I'm still fighting. I've only begun to fight, then I end up winning. And I believe in you, but we need financial support. Plus, we've got, just like our information's game-changing, our products are amazing. So fight the bullies, save the internet, save InfoWars Super Special has got to end, because Secret 12 is close to selling out, DNA Force, plus the PQQ, BioCoQ10, actually proven to help the telomeres, last longer. For Survival Shield X2, one of the purest, cleanest, deep earth crystal sources of iodine, alpha power for libido, stamina, energy, super strong, so look out. Super Blue, fluoride-free, colloidal silver, iodine, fortified toothpaste for adults and children with immune gargle and the mouthwash. 6 different products, 50% off. 40% off, Ultimate Fish Roll Combo, BioTrue Selenium, Mustard Seed Source, 50% off. There's a bunch of other products. That sale has to end very, very soon. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. I want to be clear. Those of you that have funded us over the years and that have been steadfast, you are the tip of the spear. But if you're a listener and you haven't, you're like, okay, vitamins, supplements, water filters, T-shirts, whatever. This is a serious war. And I don't want Soros and Hillary and the globalists to win. They're so scared of us because we've got the guests, we've got the research, we've got the intel, we've got the zeitgeist, we've got the pulse. They know. And so if they can get us, everybody else, and they're not bragging about that. So the Democrats are like, we want the names of jurors so we can threaten them. In the Manafort case, they're unhinged. They're out of control. We need your steadfast, like the North Star support. That's why whether you want coffee or supplements, maybe you don't want to reorder heirloom seeds every month or every 2 months, 3 months. You choose one click in the store. That's fine. But coffee, super high quality, organic, high mountains, Chiapas, right by the Guatemalan border. I think it's the best coffee. It's very, very competitively priced.
Dude, I want the coffee so bad. It sounds so good.
You sign up for auto ship, you get big discounts. 10% on top of it. Sign up for auto ship on Secret 12 or X2. And you lock in the price. Get a T-shirt. Whatever you need, your support. That's how you put skin in the game. Get a Forbidden Information, Infowars.com T-shirt, our newest. Won't be until next week. Get a Mean Like a Wolverine. All right, going back to Mike Adams, who's taken over this hour, Mike, and just how dire the situation is. We have the power, we have the capacity, we have the ability to stop this, but people understand this is not a game. The reason they're attacking InfoWars is they realize that, and I'm not saying this on a power trip, I don't know why this is the case, they can track it back to our guests and our reports and our information, not me. I'm a small part of it, but I do have that spirit of resistance. That's the ignition point.
Damn
but
right.
Our guests and our crew is the main charge. I'm just the detonator. Our audience is the detonator. They keep going back to us as Domino 1, Patient 0. And so they want to shut down. Well, we have to say, what is it InfoWars is doing, as you've pointed out, that we're the interrupter. We're breaking into the transmission. We're NPR's, oh, hi, America was never great. It'll never be great. Lay down and die. We'll take, no, I'm saying in a grating car wreck, like, no,
Yeah,
wake up, wake up. I think we're the cold bucket of water. Mike Adams, take over.
Well, in exactly the same way that China cracks down on free speech there, you cannot say that you're opposed to the Communist Party. You will be kidnapped, essentially, by the government. You'll be disappeared. You'll have your organs harvested. That's not an exaggeration. That's exactly what they do. And by the way, I want to mention on that, Senator Dianne Feinstein's office was infiltrated by a Chinese spy for 20 years. This is now well documented. And we know now that when human rights activists went to Senator Feinstein's office to try to file complaints about the human rights abuses in China, Senator Feinstein's office took copies of their IDs. And we know then, because of the spy in her office, those IDs were sent back to Beijing. And then when those Chinese citizens would travel back to China, they would very often be kidnapped and disappeared. This is Senator Feinstein's office, literally, perhaps without her knowledge, but in her office, colluding with China to have human rights activists murdered. And we have a trial about Manafort, and we have an investigation into Trump colluding with the Russians, and no discussion about Senator Feinstein, her office colluding with Communist China to murder human rights activists. What is wrong with this picture? Why aren't the real criminals in America being investigated? That's just a side note, Alex.
Maybe shady, but he's got to be there to be there.
It's like how they say Saddam was bad, and if we continue down this path, America is going to become communist China. So what I want to cover here in this hour, and by the way, bring up Radio Free Asia. That's rfa.org. And there's a story there. It says Chinese activist who wrote "Down with the Communist Party" in a toilet disappears. He was in a hospital restroom, and the only free speech he's got left is to scribble on the walls that the Communist Party is destroying us all. And then, he posted online about the toilet revolution, because that's the last place they can have free speech. And he disappears too, just like those human rights activists that tried to go to Senator Feinstein's office to beg for help. Help us not be kidnapped and murdered and organ harvested by this communist Chinese regime. And what happens? They get murdered, they get kidnapped, perhaps tortured. We don't know what happened to them all.
Evil as they
but
come,
this
buddy.
Activist in the toilet revolution story says that, look, China is poisoning us all. This is a Chinese citizen saying this. China is poisoning our food, poisoning our water, poisoning our vaccines. There's a massive vaccine scandal exploding in China right now. I'll cover it in more detail during this hour. 1 million doses of vaccines now tainted that have been distributed and injected into children all across China. We don't even know the extent of the damage yet. And the communist Chinese government ordered what? A massive media blackout of that story. And that is exactly what the U.S. government does with the U.S. media as well. The CDC functions like a communist military organization, sends out a demand to every media organization in America and says, don't cover the whistleblowers inside the CDC. Don't cover the truth about autism. Don't cover anything about the ingredients in vaccines. That's a reflection of communist China. China's doing the exact same thing right now. It's a massive scandal. And when you try to talk about it, you get kidnapped by the government. You get shut down. Your organs are harvested. This is what happens when you have no free speech and when you let a tyrannical government regime take over. It's insane. We've got a lot more ahead, including some tech conversations about alternatives to the techno tyranny now dominating American online culture. We'll be right back here on the Alex Jones Show, so stay with us. We'll be back.
It was about 25 years ago that I began to read publicly available books that had been written for the State Department and for the CIA by top professors at Georgetown, Harvard, and Yale, so that the CIA and other agencies could understand the complex political system they were building. And in short, it was going to be called a technocracy. But it was going to fund communism and socialism and fascism. But really what it was crony capitalism. So decades later, after fighting against this, humanity is somewhat awake to the threat. But at the same time, despite all our successes, changing this paradigm really is an inside job. It's up to us personally. So I don't feel sorry for myself being demonized by mainstream media and being attacked and the globalists filing frivolous lawsuits. I expected that to happen. This is 21st century warfare. I just want to make sure that you, the listeners, and you, the viewers, many of you already understand this, so I'm not patronizing those of you that are already awake, but I want to make sure all of you realize this isn't just some more entertainment. This isn't just some other talking head. The reason they hate what we cover is because I and others have researched what they actually are planning, and it is nightmarish, it is authoritarian, it is eugenics-based, it is anti-human. And we've already come so far together that I know that if each and every one of you will just go research these issues for yourself, you will find out how real it is and understand it's not your duty. It is your basic survival to stand up against this anti-human onslaught. If you go back into history, it was 3% that volunteered for the Revolutionary War back in 1776. But if you look at the InfoWars audience, it's maybe 10% of the United States, another 10% or so worldwide. I think that's a conservative estimate. But we have 50, 60, 70 million people listening. We have more than that have tuned in over the years. The point is that if you look at that, that's less than 3% of the world population. So what you're doing has already changed the world. And instead of sitting here and going into each product and telling you how great they are, I'm just going to encourage you to go research them yourselves, because you're funding our operation. And just like our information has changed the world, any products we sell are game-changing. Myco ZX sold out for months. The other equation of probiotic, it's now stronger and a lower price at InfoWarsStore.com. We've got the Real Red Pill that's got pregnenolone, that is a base natural hormone precursor in the body. Then all the different vitamins and minerals, amino acids, just does incredible things. Look into the Real Red Pill for yourself. And then we have a new addition to the Super Blue family of products. You know about our best-selling fluoride-free toothpaste that's fortified with colloidal silver and iodine and other key compounds that are so good for your gums and teeth. We now have not just the mouthwash, but Super Blue Silver Immune Gargle Mouth Spray that is
because look at the burn, feeling the burn. The millennials felt the burn. They like
Today in the fourth hour on the Alex Jones Show, and
That's
by the
the
way,
fourth
thank
hour.
you for hosting this hour, covering a lot of tech alternatives to the censorship platforms that are dominated by big tech that is now deplatforming virtually all voices of truth or voices that are pro-Trump or pro-America, pro-liberty, what have you. We're going to talk about and list a lot of alternatives, even alternative browsers. As I was researching this story, I found out that the Opera browser had been sold to China for $900 million. And that was actually almost 2 years ago, I believe. I was surprised. I had no idea that China had bought a browser. There's also another story out there. There's a new browser from China called Red Core. Yeah, like commie Red Core. It's called Red Core, and the creator of it claimed that they had finally broken free from Google, and they had built their own communist China browser from the ground up using commie code. And it's called Red Core, like I said, and then it turns out the whole thing is built on Google. It's on Chrome. It's basically Chrome rebranded to be Red Core. So if you go now and look at this Red Core browser underneath, if you open the hood underneath, it's all Google technology powering this communist browser that is going to block independent media or anybody talking about organ harvesting or Falun Gong or, Tiananmen Square, you name it. If you just talk about Buddhist monks in China, you can be shut down or blocked. And I've got a lot of notes here on these things and more. But first I want to go to another China scandal, which is the exploding vaccine scandal. Now, 1 million doses. This is a top story right now that we just posted on naturalnews.com. The vaccine scandal explodes as 1 million doses now found to be maiming children, and there's a total media cover-up. The media in China has been ordered by the government there to blacklist this story. And at the same time, the company that's responsible for this was led by a woman, a very powerful woman, who was called the Vaccine Queen in China. She was one of the wealthiest people in the country. Imagine this. One of the wealthiest people in the country is selling tainted vaccines to be injected into children. And don't forget that it wasn't too many years ago that there was that powdered milk scandal where a powdered milk company in China was substituting powdered milk with melamine. And melamine was being sold and consumed by children all across the country. Well, melamine can kill you if you drink it, and it causes permanent kidney damage. And hundreds of thousands of children had their kidneys permanently damaged. In some cases, they were killed by melamine consumption because that company just wanted to make an extra buck because milk is expensive, but melamine is cheap. So they just sold melamine as infant formula, and the parents fed that to their babies. You know, another reason why breastfeeding actually is more advantageous than any of these artificial substances that claim to be infant formula. But the CEO of that company was charged and prosecuted and executed by the Chinese government. I mean, executed. They killed that person, and now it looks like this Vaccine Queen may be facing criminal charges herself, or may have already been charged. The last I read, she was already arrested, and so it looks like possibly she might be facing execution. I mean, imagine the wealthiest, or one of the wealthiest people in the country facing execution for selling tainted vaccines. Now, contrast that to America, where you can sell the most toxic vaccines. You can sell vaccines with anything in them. They can have hidden cancer viruses in them, and they did. 98 million Americans were injected with cancer viruses, simian virus, SV40 it's called, in the polio vaccinations throughout the 1960s and 70s and so on. 98 million Americans. And when that came out, I mean, InfoWars covered that back in, I think, 2012, and we covered it as well. When that came out again, and we were talking about that, the CDC scrubbed that history from their website to try to memory hole that history, because the CDC functions just like communist China. They do the exact same things. They cover up the truth, and they do this relentlessly. They do not want the truth to come out about what's in vaccines, whether it's in China or America. Parents are correct to be skeptical about what's in those vaccines. Now, we've done stories at Natural News. We also have vaccines.news if you want to just go there and focus on vaccines that talk about the ingredients. There are aborted human fetal tissue cells in many common vaccines. I'm talking, again, aborted human fetal cells. So the abortions that happen, the aborted mass, I mean, the tissue of once living unborn babies is sold off by Planned Parenthood or other abortion clinics to vaccine manufacturers who use that aborted fetal tissue to literally grow vats of diseased, inoculated tissue that they spike with deadly viruses. And then they use that, they use homogenization, they use UV light denaturing of the viral proteins and so on. And essentially they grind it up and they inject it, they put it back in the vaccine vials, and then that gets injected into other babies. This is medical cannibalism. And it's going on every day in America. And it's mostly black babies that are being aborted. And then you wonder, why does Black America question the vaccine industry about what they're injecting? And you know, the cover-up that took place at the CDC involved black babies, mostly males, who had a much higher risk of autism because of what's in the vaccines. And that was covered up by the CDC, and there was a total media blackout all across America. Every media organization was ordered not to cover it. So think about these issues, folks. We are talking about an evil medical regime that's now backed up by a censorship regime where if you go onto Facebook or YouTube and you start talking about vaccines or anything that I'm talking about here, which is 100% true, you will be deplatformed. You will be censored. YouTube is now showing pop-ups over vaccine videos that try to indoctrinate you with propaganda and say, oh, no, all vaccines are safe, everything's awesome. So if you have a truthful video that says, I looked at the government statistics, and last year there were a lot of children killed by vaccines in America, according to government statistics. And there were, potentially thousands of children maimed, sent to the hospital, some in comas, seizures, neurological damage. It's government statistics. But if you say that, you are banned, you are deplatformed, you are censored, just like in communist China. I mean, what's it going to come to in America where you have to go to a public restroom and scribble things on the wall now? You know, beware the ingredients in vaccines. Like that, is that the last free speech you're going to have left? That's the issue that we're facing right now. So the vaccine issue just highlights all of this incredible government control and censorship. And that's why I bring that up. But as we continue this hour, I'm going to cover alternatives on platforms, video platforms, browser platforms, social media platforms. And I have some good news for you, too, about something coming up that's going to be launched this month. Because if we don't have the right to express free speech, then we can never question these agendas and these cover-ups that are run by governments in with industries like the vaccine industry globally, or in collusion with the media that's been running this Russia hoax on Trump for, what, 2.5 years now? And now they're trying to dox the jurors in the Manafort trial so they can, what, threaten them at their homes and threaten their families? It's unreal what's going on here. But we'll cover it. We're here. We're fighting every day thanks to your support. We'll be right back. This is the Alex Jones Show. Mike Adams filling in for the 4th hour. Stay with us.
The premise of letting you keep your security clearance when you leave. I worked at 2 White Houses. I worked at the top level, had top secret clearance. At the end of the day, if you let someone keep it, they can come back and be helpful to you. John Brennan is never going to come back and be a part of this administration. He's never going to be used by this administration to help in anything that he ever does.
The logic you're using, doesn't it sort of smack, it may not be, but doesn't it smack up, if you're nice to me...
I would stand in line for this. There's always room in life for this.
447.
Google's own staff is now protesting Google's effort to build a censorship search engine for China. Now, we know part of that is a joke because they've already built the technology and they're using it in America, and they use it even in the 2016 election, by the way. But now the people who work for Google are just starting to wake up and realize, oh, hey, guess what? You're working for an evil corporation that is supporting a truly evil regime engaged in human kidnapping, torturing political prisoners, harvesting organs, trying to spread the toxic communism plague.
China is the #1 country of pollution, like that. They probably already knew that, but there's just like a cloud of smog in China. I read somewhere living in China, each day is like, if you don't smoke, each day is like going out in public and whatnot, is like equal to smoking 1 cigarette.
To keep the East Germans enslaved. If you poured the concrete, or if you manned the walls, if you had the guns, and you shot people trying to escape East Germany to get to freedom, you were working for evil. Well, now that Berlin Wall is a virtual online wall, and it's companies like Google that are now keeping people enslaved in a kind of East German online Stasi secret police regime. And if you're working for Google,
Google comes installed on any phone you want to buy nowadays, no matter what, or no matter who you provide your service with.
And part of that evil, of course, comes out of communist China, which is most of the focus of my show today in terms of technology. I want to mention something else here that you may not have known. There's a fulfillment software. You know how everybody's business infrastructure is now under attack by the left. Even InfoWars, Shopify payments, banned them. There have been other issues behind the scenes, MailChimp and Disqus comment engine. But there's a fulfillment software that is used not by InfoWars and not by us, but by others. It's called StoneEdge. And StoneEdge was purchased by China. And when China bought StoneEdge, they forced changes to the country addressing system inside the fulfillment
rerouting the whole constitution,
to make Taiwan
getting around it,
designated as
like
part of China.
Care of it anyway.
And this caused total havoc where everybody's sending out packages to Taiwan. Those packages were now rerouted to China.
What the?
Because of the way the U.S. Postal Service reads the country code and the way China forced the software to change that country code to China.
That's wild.
This is exactly the kind of bullying that China is engaged in. They're doing it with airlines. They're doing it with hotels. They've forced global hotel chains to denounce Taiwan as a separate country and to claim that Taiwan is part of China. Now, just in case you're not familiar, I call Taiwan the Texas of Asia. Taiwan is a democratic, free country.
Really?
That's where free speech is allowed. You know, Taiwan is a place where you've got free market capitalism. The Taiwan people, I mean, I lived in Taiwan for a couple of years. I know it very intimately. The people there are amazing people. They're innovators, they're software developers, they're entrepreneurs. They're great people. But China wants to take over Taiwan. And they're planning to do it. And as part of that effort, they're running a PSYOP. They convinced U.S. airlines to change all their maps and all their destinations to read that Taiwan was a province of China and not its own country. And China has been bullying other nations all around the world to cut ties with Taiwan or vote against Taiwan on diplomacy issues. And they're doing this to try to isolate Taiwan. And the reason that's relevant to InfoWars is because it's the same kind of bullying campaign that's being leveled against InfoWars. In fact, these are really in parallel. What China does to Taiwan, CNN is trying to do to InfoWars. It's the same thing. They're trying to isolate you, demonize you, get everybody to delist you and deplatform you so that they can then take over and you won't be a threat because you're reporting free speech issues or you're threatening the information monopoly or the political monopoly. So just think about that. When you think about InfoWars and the war on Alex Jones, I want you to also remember that Taiwan has been subjected to the exact same thing for many, many years, and they could be militarily invaded and attacked and taken over by China at any moment. And, you know, China's running bombers right now, bomb flight runs that look like they're targeting America, to bomb America. It's insane. But, you know, I love Taiwan. You should stand up for Taiwan's freedom. We all should. That's important. Now, moving on to other topics, let's talk about browsers for a second here. We reported the other day that Mozilla Firefox looks like it's going to start censoring independent media. This is a new escalation. It also underscores the complete hoax of the net neutrality push. I want to focus on this for a second. Remember net neutrality, where all these tech giants said, we have to pass net neutrality, or else you might be blocked from visiting the websites that you want to visit. Remember that? Remember that? All these tech giants try to get all the internet users to support them and say, yeah, we want freedom to access information, freedom to go to the websites we want. There were articles that said, oh, if you're gay, you might be blocked from visiting gay websites. Or if you're pro-abortion, you might be blocked from visiting abortion websites. We have to have net neutrality, right? Those same tech giants have now systematically deplatformed InfoWars and also National News, you know, the Health Ranger channel on YouTube. We were deplatformed in March of this year, proving that the entire net neutrality push was a massive con. It was a complete hoax. They're not interested in neutrality. They're not interested in people being able to visit the information sources that they want or the channels that they want. Net neutrality was another Trojan horse. It was a way for the government to come in and seize control of internet traffic so that when the Democrats one day get back into the White House, which they will eventually, they would be able to dominate the internet and control the traffic and deplatform at the TCP/IP level, the basic level of web traffic. They would block conservative websites and independent media. That's what net neutrality was all about. It was all a hoax. And if you got wrapped up in that, it's time to look in the mirror and think about how easily you were brainwashed into supporting evil, because that's what's happening all across America. You know, these left-wing people who work for Google, they work for YouTube, they work for Facebook, they themselves don't think that they're evil. Every day they get up and tell themselves that they're doing good work. They're blocking hate speech. You know, they're helping progress, and they're tolerant, and they're inclusive. It's like these two bicyclists who said, there's no evil in the world, so let's go bicycling through ISIS-controlled territory in Tajikistan or wherever they were, and they got stabbed to death. You know, it's like these people tell themselves that there's no evil in the world as long as everybody's tolerant and inclusive, but they want to block you for hate speech while they're calling themselves tolerant. But they are carrying out incredible evil, even while they're telling themselves that they're good people. Just keep this in mind. This is something, if you ever try to debate with a left-wing person, you can't start out the debate by saying, first acknowledge that you're evil. No, they're going to say, no, we're not evil, you're evil. But they're working for evil. They're building evil systems. They're building evil technology that deprives people of basic human rights and human dignity. That's exactly what is happening. That's the truth. Firefox and Mozilla looks like they're going to evil. So what are the alternatives? A couple browsers I want to mention here. Number one is Brave. The Brave browser was built by some people who are very much pro-liberty. At least that's my understanding. That's always subject to change if pressure is brought to bear on these companies. But Brave.com is a good browser to check out right now. There's another one that I recommend. It's called Vivaldi, V-I-V-A-L-D-I. Vivaldi.com, I believe, is the URL for that. And that's a small independent group that built that browser. That's been working great. And those are alternatives. Remember, Opera has been purchased by China. Chrome is now the key core, the core code
Communist
for the Red Core browser that is the Communist China official browser. And Google is going to use the Chrome browser to block the independent media once this free speech attack escalates to the domain level, browser level blocking. So that's coming. So don't use Firefox, don't use Chrome, don't use Opera. Evil, evil, evil. Go to Vivaldi or Brave or find another browser. We'll keep you updated with more as we research more alternatives. And when we come back, I'm going to give you some alternatives to YouTube and Google News and many other online services. So stay with us. Mike Adams here on the Alex Jones Show. We'll be back with much more.
That might be an understatement. They did their job there if that's what they wanted to do. What is
the number one thing
about redefining reasonable doubt? What does that say?
Oh, this is too funny. I don't care.
Very, very typical question. You'll always get it in every criminal trial, and it means they start.
What they can do for themselves is take good fish oil or krill oil. Just like our information's dynamite, so are our products, InfoWarsStore.com. And all these other company heads and all these other people know this, and they won't say it. So I'm here hammering.
Stop the hammering. Stop the hammering out there. Who's got a hammer? Where is it?
Hammering.
Where's the hammer? Is it on the... Go up on the other floor. Somebody go up there and stop the hammering.
Hammering.
Stop the hammering.
Hammering.
Call Phil Griffin. I don't care who the you have to call. Stop the hammering.
Hammering. And all these fools and all these traitors don't get it. Now it's being taken away because they demand control of the streets, control the schools, control your bank account.
It just sucks. It sucks to be out here with this out of control.
Control the churches, control the food you eat, control the vaccines they put in your body, control the internet, control of everything. They're here.
Any thing can come into my ear at any moment. That's what I know. Anybody can get into my ear at any time.
Our supplements, our products, our t-shirts, all of it is choose your own adventure at InfoWarsStore.com, standing with America, standing against the Chi-Coms in Hollywood, standing for victory and winning. Thanks to you. We'll be back.
I'll go down to the floor myself and stop it. Keep the commercial break going.
Hey, how would you like to take InfoWars with you wherever you go? Well, now you can do just that with the new official InfoWars app. And here's the best part. It is
strong words, and this comes as the Turkish credit rating is hit with a negative.
We now take you live to the Central Texas Command Center and the heart of the resistance.
Elon Musk weeps. This is the headline on Breitbart right now. Elon Musk, he's crying over the fact that he had to work on his birthday. So let me get this straight. So this guy that had unlimited positive press, glowing, gushing positive press about him for, I don't know, a decade or more, suddenly is facing questions, and he's just breaking down. I mean, I feel sorry for the guy. He's breaking down. He's crying. The board of his company is correcting everything he says. He's having a massive Musk meltdown right now. And it's just a reminder. I mean, look at the contrast, I mean, Alex Jones has been under intense attack, and many of us have, myself included, year after year after year. And we're not breaking down in tears. we just get tough. You know, it turns you into a warrior. I guess you either break down and cry.
You don't give a damn
run to the corner of your room
after
and
enough
bawl
of it.
your eyes out, or you get tough and you say, you know what, we're fighting for something here that matters. So let's hope Elon Musk can dry his eyes and come back and actually build something that doesn't have bumpers fall off. I mean, for God's sake, Elon, hold it together there for us. Now, moving on. And by the way, I don't own any stock in Tesla, and I don't have any shorts.
Me neither.
On Tesla either.
All I know is I own some debt.
I have nothing to do with Tesla. I'm just shocked at this guy's behavior. It's crazy. But let's get on to some tech alternatives here, because there's some good news. Is I heard this from a source that there is a major new social media platform being launched this month. That it is extremely well funded. It's created with the help of veterans. It's going to be friendly to conservative voices, friendly to firearms. It's going to compete with Facebook, and it should be launched before the end of this month. I don't have anything to do with that project. I'm not invested in it. I'm not part of the R&D team. I'm doing my own thing, Real.video. But this is something different. We don't know the name yet, but it's coming out. So alternative platforms are being built, and we need to support all these platforms and support their economic models. So it's not enough to just go there and watch the videos or use the chat boxes or what have you. Support these independent organizations in the same way that you support InfoWars. Your economic support drives the success of all of these platforms. So let me give you a rundown of what we have here so far. Of course, you've got Gab.ai. Everybody knows about Gab. They're being censored at the app level by Google and Apple. And Gab is a great social media alternative. You've got Minds.com, which is kind of like a social media platform hybridized with a cryptocurrency component, where I think you get rewarded in some crypto coins for the popularity of your posts, if I understand that correctly. You've got my new platform, Real.video, which, by the way, yesterday has just achieved now serving 2.5 million video minutes per week. That's a new record. And maybe sometimes 15-20% growth every week now. And
Shotgun economics, hell yeah.
To grow. And by the way, we just had a really cool new channel join. It's called SHTF Prepping 101, I believe. They uploaded over 100 videos of like how to make your own body armor at home, how to make a rainwater collection system, how to grow food with hydroponics, how to defend off attackers if you don't have
hydroponics.
So many amazing videos. It's like how to make your own laundry detergent, how to make a penny can stove. There's all these how-to videos, and somebody just said, hey, I'm just going to upload this whole library because this could be useful. So you can find that video, and that's what I love about the platform. There's really practical stuff. There's also a video site put together by the Utah Gun Exchange. It's called UgeTube, or UGE Tube. The UGE stands for Utah Gun Exchange. It's a pro-Second Amendment video community, and InfoWars also uploads their videos there. I've talked to those guys. They're good guys. They are some of their team also goes out and protests some of the anti-gun protesters. So these are the pro-gun counter-protesters to the anti-gun people. So definitely support UgeTube. There's also BitChute.com, and there's D.Tube, which I believe is an extension of Steemit, which is related to the Steem cryptocurrency. So these are some video alternatives that you can check out. And my advice, by the way, even as the creator of Real.video, my advice is to use all of them. Put your channel on every one of these platforms, because redundancy is great. We all want that. We don't want one dominant platform. We don't want any central authority that can censor your speech. I don't want to be your central authority. We don't want Minds.com to be a central authority. We don't want BitChute to be a central authority. We want massive decentralization. And the way that you help us achieve that is you post your content to all these different platforms, and you also visit and support these platforms. Every one of them has some kind of revenue model, ad revenue or a crypto revenue model. Support those revenue models, take part in this, and all of us together, we will protect these platforms so that you can have access to this life-saving information. Like, can you imagine, when the next big false flag comes, which seems imminent, I don't know what it's going to be, but we know that, for example, Hezbollah has all of these terrorist cells now planted all across America. ready to be activated at a moment's notice, like sleeper cells, right? The most obvious thing for these people to do is attack the power substations and have a coordinated nationwide grid down scenario, right? That's kind of the obvious thing. All they need is some explosives, and they can frankly carry that out. And I don't know how many of these sleeper cells there are, but can you imagine how much it would suck to be sitting there thinking, oh, like yesterday I could have downloaded all these videos of how to make my own body armor, or how to, how to defend myself against attackers, or how to harden the doors of my house so people can't kick them in. But then now all of a sudden you have no electricity, you're offline, the country's offline, you don't have access to any videos. So I say, get on these websites, get this information now, download these videos now, download PDFs, how-to manuals, start saving your own home archive of all this information. I've downloaded, by the way, I downloaded this from YouTube. Actually, I had a staffer do it. We downloaded gun assembly and disassembly how-to videos, over 1,000 of them, covering all the popular guns, and we have them on an optical drive. I mean, why did I do that? Because YouTube's not going to be there forever in certain circumstances. All right, other alternatives.
I've been shut up in my whole life.
Is something that we built. Crazy. It's called Censored.News. There are no ads on it. It features InfoWars headlines, natural news headlines, and many, many other sites. I mean, I think it's a couple of dozen sites now. They're near real-time headlines, mostly pro-liberty, pro-patriot headlines across the board. Censored.News, just make it your new alternative to Google News. And we update that. It's got Breitbart on it. It's got, I think, Zero Hedges on there, Gateway Pundit, SGT Reports, so many independent media organizations. In near real time, you can get those headlines, and you can also view it on your mobile device. And then also, if you want to search the independent media, for a couple of years, we've been running goodgopher.com as an independent media search engine. It's not a big search engine like Google. It doesn't search everything, but it searches all these independent media websites that we spider as part of Censored.News. You just go to goodgopher.com.
Dude, I'm about to get me a Gopher Mail
search
account.
for anything there, and you can search the independent media. InfoWars is included in that search result, as well as News Wars, I believe, and other websites. Is included in that search result, as well as News Wars, I believe, and other websites, and we're expanding it all the time. So from Gabs, Minds, Real Video, BitChute, Censored.News, all these platforms are alternatives, and I apologize if I've left anybody out of this. I'm trying to get a pretty comprehensive list here of alternatives where you can go. And we want to see more of these built. And I know Alex does as well. Alex doesn't want to be beholden to one platform or two platforms, because that's an easy target for the establishment to try to discredit and take down, or DDoS attacks. Because think about it, like let's say BitChute is suffering a DDoS attack one day. Well, you can go over to Real.video probably and find many of the same videos. Or if we're under DDoS at Real.video and we're down, you can go over to BitChute and see the videos there. So this decentralization structure is very healthy for society. And that's what I support, and I know that the other creators of these technology solutions also support that. And we all support InfoWars' right to free speech as well. So these are good projects to support, and we're not built on Google Chrome code. It's not like the Red Core China browser, communist at your fingertips. We don't use that technology. In fact, we don't track users. We don't spy on you. We don't use Google code. We don't have AdSense or AdWords or any of that garbage. None of that stuff. Our goal is to be 100% Google free. I mean, there might be some tiny snippet somewhere that uses some JavaScript library somewhere, but we try to get rid of Google. It's almost possible, but we try. And I think we've done a good job. But anyway, those are some solutions for you. I appreciate your watching today. This is Mike Adams here, filling in for Alex on the fourth hour of the Alex Jones Show. We are fighting for your liberty every single day, and we are here to continue to protect your right to speak and to protect our constitutional republic. God bless America. Make America great again. Help us do that, and we'll help you, and we can win this. So thank you all for your support. Until next time, this is Mike Adams. Take care.
The President of the United States.
I ain't watching that Lemonhead.